What is up, everybody? It is Breaking the Cage, Astrology TV. Give me just a second here. I'm going to post it out real fast, and then we're going to get on with this. There's so much to talk about. Boy, there's so much to talk about. Holy moly. That's all I can say. Hold on just a second. No, not that. Give me, phone. We're getting it done. We're getting it done. There's just so much, man. So much. And one more. So that I know it's already there. And I can not have to worry about it. Alright, y'all know it's time when I throw the phone. Alrighty. Hey, I kicked. I kicked my little camera thing here. Let me light my incense. This is for May 8th through the 14th. And in case I forget to say it next week, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. I'm trying to get my incense going. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. May 8th through the 14th. We just had both the eclipses come through. It was shadow energy. I was telling you all before it even started to come in. If you go back, if you've been following me for any amount of time, I was telling you before the eclipses even started. Spirit was telling me it was, and I was showing my age when I was saying it was like Babylon. I was like, and they were using the old, 80s music, and they were like, the hammer swings down, which was the song. And now Spirit's giving me and Spirit's giving me like, welcome to the tea party. Yeah, we got a lot going on. And this is just for this week, but you know me, I kind of give you a good example because I love all of you, and I only want the best for so many. And I hate coming back afterwards being like, I told you so. If you watched the video, I was telling you what the energy was going to be like. And I've been saying this for some time. Like I said, they were giving us that Babylon energy. The hammer swings down. You got the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, but what they're really mixing it with is the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre, the harbors being shut down. I keep getting from Spirit, Paul Revere, oneth by land, twoeth by sea. Not to mention when I look at the astrology itself, I have said to you all a million times, I do not do astrology the way most astrologers do it. I learned astrology from what Spirit taught me, and then they taught me to go out and learn other stuff through the other ways. And when I look at the astrology this week, all I see is, and this goes with that Paul Revere, when it's by land, when it's by land, twoeth by sea, is because when I look at the astrology, I literally am seeing, it sounds funny, I am literally seeing like the folding up of like a paper hat that you would put on, but the hat would be like a sailboat. So this speaks to us about our emotions, about the energy, but it also speaks to us, and the idea of like that Pearl Harbor energy, not Pearl Harbor, wow, of that Tea Party energy, Boston Tea Party, of it being other, not just here in the United States that we're talking about, as well as political, political from other countries and everything that is going on. So this is talking about several things in our individual little lives, as well as the bigger picture on a political arena. Spirit is reminding me, nothing is as it seems, period. That has a lot to do with that Saturn and that Neptune energy, which I'm going to get into more. I've been saying over and over and over again that Saturn and Neptune over the next year or so are going to come closer and closer and closer together. And remember, that's your universal 12th house. That's Neptune is in his home right now, but he's only got not even a year before he's fully moving out, I don't think. And Saturn's going to be coming right with them. Out of that Pisces, out of that 12th house. He's been there forever, it seems like. And Saturn and Neptune is bringing together more of the magic of truly stepping in your power and creating it. Or what I'm really getting is like a night in Vegas or Amsterdam. Like you can put it off. You can get into that sinister. You can get into that mischief. You can, not necessarily deal with what necessarily is needed to be dealt with, but it's going to come back for you. In this energy right now, it is about making sure you're definitely seeing everything and bringing it into the grounded three-dimensional world and taking responsibility for how it's being created and shifted so that it's firm, solid. Okay? Remember last week I was warning you with that Pluto going retrograde until June 11th, I think, where it will still be in retrograde after June 11th, but it's only until June 11th that we're still looking at Pluto being here in Aquarius, which it's never been for over 250 years, which is where that connection of that Paul Revere, of the Boston Tea Party, of the Boston Massacre, of trying to be taxed in different ways, and the government sticking its energy in and trying to take more control versus the other countries having something to do with that. This has a lot to do with what we're looking at right now, and we're seeing a big crunch in that between now and June 11th, when it actually will retrograde back into Capricorn, where it's been for the last 30 years. Like I said, you're getting a lot of that purge energy, which is coming from that 11th house and that 12th house. I'm going to get more into it as I go, but I'm giving you good pieces, trying to give you nice, good amounts to chew on, meaty bones here to chew on, so that you can keep it in your mind as you're redirecting your life, because I only want to see the best things for all of you. But like I said, this energy is a little wackadoo, because Spirit is also giving me, with that purging energy, they're literally taking me right back to where I started with the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. They're giving me the Cheshire Cat. And they're giving me, that could be exactly where you're at and be in that power, or you could be misled by that power. Because the Cheshire Cat, that cartoon, that movie, is known to be, a little weird, a little crazy, a little mischievous, a little sinister, but he also is very smart. Just not necessarily forthcoming in his answers. And this is speaking to you about the energy that you're going to be seeing and feeling. Not to mention those who are on the spiritual path right now, who have been really, really in this path for a while. This is going to have a lot to do with your decoy energy and the true spiritual leaders. Your true spiritual leaders, you're going to see some drop off. And you're going to see some drop off because of them balancing their energy right now. The energies have gotten so deep that some have not gotten their grounded power and being able to withstand this energy and stand strong in it at this time. So they're having to balance their yin and their yang, which has a lot to do with what this week is also going to be about. This is why they're giving it to me, to give you this. But you're going to see in some of these spiritual leaders that are coming out versus decoys versus truly how grown and mature and how far are they on their path. And like I said, this has a lot to do with if they've really been walking their path, if they've really come into that enlightenment and they're really standing firm in their power. Like I've been saying, for those especially who know me in my everyday life, Spirit has had me dealing with sulfur and titanium for the longest time, meaning you will stand firm, you will not back down, you will be strong and in your power. But that does not mean that everybody else has been in that place. Not everybody is ready to take on that energy yet. Some of us need that, and including me. Some of us need that. I gotta balance myself. I gotta balance that yin and yang. I gotta balance my, my masculine and my feminine. And in general, balance is a tricky thing. I mean, I say to people all the time that your balance has a lot to do with your inner emotional security, but that was them. That was not me saying that. I usually say it has to do with your four: your physical, your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional. If any of those four are out of balance, then your one wholeness of balance is out of balance. It's not easy to keep that in check for your own healthy survival and spiritual well-being. With that being said, like I said, you're going to find ones who are truly coming more into their power. And I'm giving you this because of what I said with that whole mischievous energy, Cheshire cat energy, Tea Party energy from Alice in Wonderland kind versus where they're going back to like the 200 and some years, where we're looking at the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre, shutting down harbors and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All of this is combining. Remember, energy repeats itself until it finally learns. And if it doesn't learn something, it will continue to repeat it, just like we do in our own individual lives. And with that being said, you're going to have those that are coming out giving false truths, giving false light, giving false information. And this is why that yin and yang, that masculine and that feminine balance is light and dark balance is important, because as I posted earlier this week, Spirit is also giving me, well, I forgot to look up the name of the horse. They're giving me actually the zebra. The zebra is not a horse, but we get the idea of it being a horse. And what I'm getting is this in mythology, through many different cultures throughout the world, there's the dead horse that is ridden or used. When it's also giving of the idea of the zombie energy here, and that's what I'm trying to get at, is you have the horse, which is in your true freedom and your vitality, and being able to be strong and firm and charge in, but also free and secure within itself. The zebra speaks to us a lot of the same in spiritual energy, but it's also plain and simply right in your face, black and white. There is no light without darkness. There is no darkness without light. And remind you, I hate to say it that way, but both sides have an agenda. And we like to only look at the side of light, the positive side, as its agenda is the right agenda. And we like to look at the negative as if it's the evil agenda. But what I'm trying to get at here is, in your personal life, as you're directing your personal life, you have both light and dark in you. And this is about not accepting the agenda from political arena, from anything from outside of you. This is about truly coming into your balance of realizing you can't grow into more light without truly acknowledging your dark. Your light and your dark are part of you. It's part of your balance. And when we look at it from that way, we also see in the stories of the end of the world and so forth, you always see of the horse that's risen, that's kind of zombie-like. That a lot of cultures or theories, or the way that they would see it, would give you that idea. This gives you the perspective of not necessarily agreeing with light or dark, but for seeing it for what it is. And being aware before you choose which side of the agenda you're on, which side you want to commit to, where you're allowing it to take place in your heart and soul and life. Like I said, that's your inner yin yang. That's your inner light dark. It's your inner masculine and feminine. And a lot of why I'm explaining it that way is because this week specifically, you have a lot of that Pluto energy, which is still in the cusp, like already at 0 degrees, but it hasn't jumped back into Capricorn yet. So we're still looking at that 200-year, everything that has to change is we've never seen or been part of, and how we're going to be changing so much of our lives, and where it's trying to give you that catapult into next year moving ahead. But that that Pluto energy is technically in Aquarius. On the universal scale, this is your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. But it's not about taking advantage of people, but it is about having the right tribe that you are part of. Because like I am always saying, it's being a product of your environment. If your environment is the right tribe, it's going to help you. But if your environment doesn't support you, then how are you going to get to those goals, dreams, and ambitions? Nobody can do everything all by themselves. I mean, some of us really try and get stuck and Leos, I'm a Leo. I'll be one of the first ones to say Leos are very hard on, I'll do it all by myself. There's a lot of us who are this way, but you cannot do everything by yourself. And it's asking you if you have the right groups, memberships, committees. What are you a part of? Are you a part of what you're going to go back and go, wow, what the hell was I thinking being a part of that? Because that's going to spin off into that Neptune energy with that Saturn energy of creating illusions, delusions. And what are you creating a new problem? Or are we really coming into our soul purpose, our soul power, and making the direction that we need to? And really, like I said, I'm giving you plenty of meat here to get your, to bite into, and understanding where this energy is going. You have this week Pluto, which I said was still in Aquarius. It's not getting along with Mars or Venus, which is it's having very unpredictable energies. Some is not getting along, some is unpredictable with that Mars and that Venus energy, which is in the 4th house. This is your masculine and your feminine energy in a form, because we are in the cusp. Truthfully, it is connecting a little bit with that Capricorn, which is the masculine, but it's connecting with the feminine, nurturing. And I've been saying since Mars moved in to Cancer, Mars is a fire sign. It is the warrior. It's your inner SWAT team. He's in mom. That's what Cancer is. Cancer is your inner emotional security. It's the nurturing and the nesting energy. It's wanting to love its way and love everybody forward. But he's the freaking warrior. So this is saying this is why I kept calling it that mama's boy energy. Are you nurturing, or are you actually, creating a bigger problem by nurturing, that mama's boy energy? How is the proper wording for it? I've been saying it over and over again, and all of a sudden my mouth seems to have lost the proper wording. But enabling. Is it enabling? Venus is also not getting along with. So this is the soul self learning how to, though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I can show the world exactly who I am, and I will accept me. But it's in your inner emotional security going, do you really accept you? Do you accept you? Are you fighting that yin and yang? Are you fighting your inner emotional security and then showing the world who it is? Or are you too busy worried about what the world is thinking? Spirit is saying there's a lot of fear going on here. A lot of fear from a lot of people feeling helpless or rejected in this area, where they're still not trusting in their intuition, or they're hiding how they truly feel from even themselves. And this is the solar plexus energy of what I'm talking about right now. And Spirit is pointing that out. You have a lot of that energy going on, which is why I said in some of these cases, depending on exactly how far you are on your spiritual journey, or some of these people who are out here, you really got to trust in that intuition. If you're getting some of that, it's a decoy energy, it's because it is. And some of them are backing off because they're recouping so they can come back stronger. And then there's the ones of us who have been being knocked down over and over and over again, because we're the ones who are meant to be the warriors. They're standing up going, no, 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 let me help you up. I'm going to not give you a bunch of bullshit. I'm not going to belittle you, but at the same time, I'm not going to baby you into something, but I'm going to help you up and send you off in the right direction. That's what a lot of this energy is. Like I said, you've got that Pluto, which is not getting along, having very big questionable energy about your yin yang, your masculine, feminine, your mothering, your fathering energy, your light and dark, and your inner emotional security, the home itself, as well as the outer world, how you feel. Then it's also not getting along with Mercury retrograde, which is in that second house, speaking to your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. And that second house of Taurus is still a loaded gun. This is really getting into just how well do you know yourself. And then that Pluto is also not getting along with the South Node, going, it's so much easier if you just stay being who you've always been. If you try not to really grow. If you just stay with what you know, at least you know what you know. That South Node isn't by itself. It's within just a few degrees of Haumea, the collective consciousness. So it's that 8th house showing you the rebirth, the re-ability to shift. Sorry, my mouth wouldn't let me say it. And this is really saying, this is the time, not just to believe in yourself. Believing in yourself, I'm sorry, it's kind of over. It's time to know yourself. If you're still having to believe in yourself, yes, you need to take that inward. You need to go back. You need to slow down. You need to shut that door behind you. You need to do some meditation. You need to rekindle that soul energy, because we are so far past that. We are in warrior energy. We are in standing up in the light energy. We are in making the changes energy. And this is the time of going, I know who I am. I know where I can't be broken. I am that power. I came from both the light and the dark, and I am everything. But this is saying, if you still can't completely harness that energy, it's time to go back inwards for a little bit. Make sure you're getting the grit of that. Because, like I said, Haumea, the collective consciousness, with that South Node in that 8th house, is birth, death, and rebirth. It is also the relationships. It's the birthing of the relationships, or the death of the relationships. Cord cutting central over here. It's also the way we see the world on what is capable of continuing to grow. Are you still seeing from a smaller perspective? Are you seeing from who that soul is truly telling you versus what society was telling you? There's so much depth going on right here, right now. You've got so much nostalgia that is coming in too. And like I said, that has a lot to do with that Saturn and that Pluto, Saturn and Neptune, as they slowly come closer over the next year. It's going to be nostalgia central over and over and over again. Those are red flags, key signs. Anything that is nostalgia that is coming in is either telling you why you loved it and what about that was what you made you feel secure, or what about it was showing you where you were really actually insecure and you're in a lie and you're redoing it again and again and again. That nostalgia, because you're talking about the 12th house, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, skeletons in the closet. You have Saturn setting new rules, new walls, new boundaries to create new cycles, forcing us to get through the nostalgia of all the baggage that we're carrying, that we don't want to admit we're carrying, It's just coming up and up and up, forcing us into that Pluto energy of, I am going to be the light. I am going to be not just the light. Perfect example. Those of you who know me really well, you know that I take care of my mom. And she's had dementia. And she has AFib. She's been in and out for heart surgeries and so forth. She has a lot of problems. And the shaman in me is not going to do any healing on her because she's so connected to me. I love her, and my ego energy will get... I can't do that on her because you're getting into my personal ego, my personal now world. And so I have to put that up with the doctors or with other healers because I don't want to mess it up. I was explaining this the other night when I was doing that show. But my point is, I'm using her as an example here. We talk about your inner child. We talk about your inner child, and your inner child gives you, the ability to play, the ability to create, the ability to have fun that we tend to lose somewhere along the way. Well, being that I take care of my mom, I'm seeing her go full circle also back to like 5 years old in her mind from time to time. And the most purest part about that inner child is the connection to the true light source of who and what you are. There's nothing better than someone you love, someone you talk to, someone that you care about is just beaming out light in their goofballness, in their whatever it was going on, just being so happy to be happy, so happy to be, part of every little thing, so happy to, and that's what I'm saying is I'm seeing in her, just the littlest things that are so delightful that will just brighten her whole face, which will brighten my whole life. That's part of your inner child. We look at the inner child too hard. We put too much on the inner child. We try to breathe it back to life to create. We try to breathe it back to life for fun. That's where we're doing it wrong. It's already there. It's just undigging all of like the story of Egypt. If you weigh your heart against a feather, you can't get into Egyptian heaven. If you have so much baggage that you believe in, how are you going to be light enough to just be excited and glow? This is about getting back to, like I said, though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I am indestructible. And finding that in our power, finding that in our life again, and rebreathing that. That's the key. That's the sweet spot. That's what you're looking for. Take that against the nostalgia that you remember. The nostalgia that's coming in. Were you feeling that or not? Plain and simple. Were you feeling that or not? Because it's telling you the direction of the healing that needs to happen. Do you walk away from that kind of energy, or do you walk towards it? There's a reason for your memories remembering these things. When I get into the blueprint hasn't changed much other than, like I said, you still have a lot going on with the spine energy. The spine has to do with that zeal point. It has to do with the energy that is taken up and down and directed through everything of your body. Jupiter and Chiron has a lot to do with the spine. In a strange way, it also has a lot to do with the voice itself, the voice box, being able to speak with it this week. So Jupiter is the abundance of the higher self, standing in that self-worth, not standing in the character of who and what you are, versus Chiron with the healing. And what are you sending up and down the spine throughout all of those chakras, all the way down to the feet and all the way back around, the Kundalini energy? What are you breathing into it? As we get into Taurus, like I said, Taurus is still a flippin' loaded house. Taurus is the north node, and it's got Mercury retrograde here. It has Vista here. It has the Sun here, and it has Uranus here. The Sun is actually sitting on the tonsils for part of the week, and then it's going to be sitting on the zeal point itself, illuminating exactly where you are and your spiritual connection. Like I said, which is connected to how your eyes, your ears, your brain is perceiving the world and the energy around you. Are you connected to the higher vibration or the lower? And which one is it? Because you'll know by what you're bringing in with the thinking. I tell people all the time, I have so many people who I help, and they're like, you know what? I'm a very positive person. And I'm like, are you now? And I'll be the first one to say it, even if this happens to me. I mean, but they'll be like, I'm such a positive person, da 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 da. And then within 5 minutes, they're bitching about this and that and that and that and that and that. And I'm like, there's a difference between identifying the situation versus harping and bitching about it again and again and again. I'm like, see, you think you're high vibrational, but when you're bitching and moaning, you're really not. You're asking for more of what I'm bitching and moaning to come about. There's a difference between acknowledging it and then making a change. Perfect example. I was talking to a friend of mine today who's taken on a job that's a very difficult job. And in fact, it's a job that she's taken on, like the management of a situation, which everybody says is like, that's a failing place. It's just a failed situation. That if everything could go wrong, it goes wrong there. Nothing ever works out there. So you being promoted and being sent there isn't exactly a good thing. It's like being set up for a fall. And I was like, you're looking at it wrong. I says, yes, this is the challenged monster or trouble place that you're at. I'm like, but there's a meme out there that I posted, I found from someone else, and it's like the idea of the phoenix. And, you know, we rise from the ashes. But before you rise from the ashes, you're going to burn. And this is the brave part. I was reminding her, I'm like, yes, this is the burn part. This is having to get into the nitty gritty and fix all the hard, difficult things. But once you fix them, you'll be the golden child. Once you stick to it and you fix it, then you're going to be the one everybody's like, well, if that person can do that, why can't you? And I'm sorry to put it that way, but this is what I'm saying. Do you throw in the hat? Or are you, I can do anything. Maybe not overnight, but I can. It's just, what are you willing to do anything with and for and why? As we get into that zeal point energy, it's speaking to you how you're viewing it, from a higher perspective or from a lower perspective. The sun is the character of who and what you are, how you see yourself versus how the world sees you, as well as how you view the world. This is your zeal point telling you directly where your vibration is, whether you like it or not. It's telling you the truth. Your Uranus is on the lymph nodes that is surrounding the neck and that zeal point. Okay, you have the Mercury retrograde, which is literally also on the vocal cords. So this is saying, again, not just about having a spine, but speaking up. Are you willing to speak it into reality and make the changes? When you get into Gemini, you have Juno, which is in the pulmonary lobe, which is speaking about the oxygen going into the blood, the oxygen coming in and getting rid of the carbon monoxide. So this is saying, how are you changing? Is it cleansing? Are you replenishing with healthy or not? This is, Gemini also speaks to you about the heart chakra. What are you replenishing? What are you breathing in? Are you bringing in healthy? You have the Cancer energy, which is literally for both Venus, no, for Venus in general, that's the ribs. All of your ribs this week. The rib cage surrounds what? It protects the heart. So this is saying, how strong and firm are you? And the pains you get in this energy and the breathing is also speaking to you about how strong and secure, and grounded are you in your feeling of what you're living, your life, the protection of your heart, the protection of your vessel, the protection of your soul, the protection of your inner child, into that true beaming, gleaming light energy. Where is it? Is it protected and saved there healthy, or is it really having to fight for it? Venus is not love. I tell you 1,000,000 times, Venus is not love. Venus is your sensitivity. She speaks to you about all of your 5 senses, but she also speaks to you about that emotional waters, how you feel. She will tell you when somebody is giving you love and caressing you and stroking you in the way that it's something that is good. But she'll also tell you when someone is belittling you and hurting you and abandoning you, or just, negative things to you. That's why you feel bad when someone hurts you. Venus is the one who's telling you, I don't like this shit. Why do we keep putting up with it? So we're talking about it protecting the life force energy of the heart and the lungs, which is your inner emotional security. You have Mars, which is all about the gastric energies, all about your digestion. Digestion is not just food. Empaths, I say this 1,000,000 times, empaths, I call my product Psychic Sponge for a reason, because empaths just suck up all the energy like a sponge. I will say it 1,000,000 times. 90% of everybody I know who is a very high empath, the more sensitive it is, the more you love bread. You know why you love bread so much? Is it because it's bread? And is it because it's good for you? It's because it's sucking up all the negative energy that's in the gut. Like I said, psychic sponge. It's making it more harder, firmer, and stronger, holding you down and keeping you in a lower vibration. Because that's where we store this energy, when we suck that energy up from everybody else. Your digestion in the spiritual perspective is how and what kind of energy are you digesting and breathing in to your aura, to your physical body. And is it being able to be transmutated and brought back out, which then starts to mess with how your digestion actually works. Having gas and having it feel bloated. It all truly comes together. You have Lilith and Pallas, which is still here in Leo. Pallas is Athena, the warrior goddess, all about strategically thinking about how to light your fire, to get back to the flame that is you, to get back to the gleaming inner child that's ready to just be excited about every single day of life and have that smile instead of, okay, it's another day. We're trying to get rid of all of that lower vibration. Pallas, Athena, the warrior goddess, is trying to talk to Lilith about illuminating that flame, that fire, that fifth house, that inner creativity. It's everything that makes you want to be here. Are you connecting with those things? Or does the heart just feel like it's being avoided, ignored? It's going to tell you a lot about how heavy you feel. And Ceres, not Sirius Star, Ceres, which is nurturing or neglecting. She's the threefold, is literally sitting on the appendix. Not to mention, Pluto, as Pluto recently just went retrograde here in Aquarius. Pluto is the immune system. having a lot to do with the connecting with your spiritual flu energy, connecting with all this weather changing energy, connecting with your ability to believe in rejuvenating and healing. If you're not feeling good and secure about yourself, it's going to be a whole lot harder to bounce back. And it's going to feel like it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier, versus are you truly starting to step into that power right now? I'm just giving you the heads up of what these energies really are. And like I said, I've been saying it for the longest time. The South Node is everything you're good at, but it's not good for you anymore, because your comfort zone is all in your reproductive energy, your life, death, and rebirth. But it's also in all of your sexual organs. So it's speaking to you of the ability to plant a new seed. When we get into the actual astrology for this week, the moon has a lot going on. The moon, I'm going to just go through the moon's energy first before I get into the actual week's energy, because the moon is your emotional self as you're going through the week. And the moon starts off with it getting along great with Lilith in the 5th house and Chiron in the 1st house, while moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is connected to your emotional, spiritual intuition of your higher self. Okay? This is why it's called the galactic center in the middle of Sagittarius. Not the middle, but near the end of the Sagittarius. This is your higher self in that moon energy. And the connecting to the higher source energy is definitely getting along great with that Lilith and understanding what the soul needs, what the heart needs to reflect in positive healing. It's connecting with that Chiron of where you're not in that proper character and helping to show you how to get in it. But it's not getting along with Venus, which is that inner emotional security. The 4th house of believing in it and actually doing it and stepping forward. And it's not getting along with anybody else. Then you've got the moon moving into Capricorn, where it's getting along great with everybody in Taurus, really, which is Capricorn grounding your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, grounding your power. That is great energy. It's very unpredictable with the heart, meaning how much will you believe in it? This is, you've got to understand, Taurus, the sun, Uranus, the North Node, Vista, the keys, everything you want is right here, and how to manifest it, how to speak it. It's the throat chakra and the zeal point. It's speaking with that Capricorn moon energy as it moves through. And it is saying that if you believe in it, you're going to do great. But this is stepping in and taking that power. Otherwise, someone else is going to do great at manipulating you, because they stepped into the power. You didn't. I'm just saying it like it is. Creating the life that you want has to do with being in the power of knowing who you are and taking that power. You have that Aquarius energy with the moon coming through, being willing to try new things. It's not getting along with that 5th house, with that Lilith. It's wanting to put everybody else first. And there's nothing wrong with loving others. But if you don't, as I've said it a million times, you have to have enough water in the well to give to others before you can give to others. And this is making sure that there is water in the well or not. It is not getting along with Lilith. It is not getting along with anybody, really. Yeah. It's just, but it's mainly not getting along with Lilith, and it's mainly incredibly not getting along with Venus and Mars, inner emotional security. Then you have it going into Pisces at the end of the week. The moon in Pisces is that energy of, what a beautiful story, what a great idea, what a da-da-da-da-da, and then you're the one who got robbed blind. This is bringing home the stray dog and opening up naively. That's a very bad situation this week. Like I said, Cheshire Cat with a sinister grin. If you're not the one that's in control of that grin, don't fall for it, because it might come back to bite you in the ass. I'm sorry. You've got that energy that's with Saturn, not learning the lesson, that naiveness, and just being a big, open, loving heart, and a wham! It'll get hit with the South Node, how may have the collective consciousness. Nope, you didn't learn the lesson. Boom, you failed. And then your inner emotional security in the 4th house. This week is not the week. This week is not the week. But there is a lot of very positive things if you're in that power, if you're working towards coming into yourself again and making sure you're not losing yourself on that way. You have some sextiles this week, which is very positive opportunities coming in. Knowing how to take the opportunity when it's there is part of that Cheshire energy. Mischievous, but smart. But not always necessarily bad. Just mischief. Inner child. Fun. Pluto, retrograde, 11th house, is getting along great with Neptune and the magic of being able to learn those lessons. The magic of changing and making it work for you by not being who you've always been, by stepping back into the true you, by acknowledging it, and then going into abundance in Jupiter, amplifying the character and going all the way. There's definitely can step into a whole new you, or you could be stepping into a piece of you that you just didn't really amplify and let anybody see, so they never worked with it. This is definitely a character change. You have Saturn, which is also in that 12th house, which is getting along great with the North Node and with Mercury retrograde, and then with Venus. So this is learning how to caress the communication. How to use, let me speak what I need, but not jump all over everybody. 12th house, Saturn, rules, walls, boundaries, being shifted. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and insecurity. Stepping out and into, let me make the change, but knowing how to charm it so that you can make it work. Like I said, mischievous is all over this. You've got Chiron, the Sun, and Mars. The wounded healer, illuminating the character, coming into your inner warrior. What I've been saying a million times, are you gonna nurture something that truly needs to be nurtured, or are you going to find that you're enabling a situation because you keep nurturing the wrong shit, and it's going to show you right this week. It will slap it down at you if you're doing it wrong. Unpredictable energy this week is Saturn and the Sun. Sun's in the 2nd house, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, where you manifest, where you create from. It's also your money house, showing exactly who you are. Do you have money? Can you bring money? Can you get money? Do you feel good about yourself? Or are you the one trying to get it and you got none? Having trouble handling it? Coming from that Saturn 12th house, did you lose it? How in control are you of your life, your situation? Can you ground yourself and truly stand in that power? Because this is unpredictable energy. This would be not the week to throw your money away on lottery, because you may find that you threw it all away just by going, yeah, I'm always good. If this was the week that you were always good at doing something along that line, you may find it doesn't work for you quite as well this week. This is why I'm saying the shun, the character, your manifestation, your 1st house, it could work good for you, but if there's not necessarily that for sure thing, you might also be showing just how much naive you are, and I'm ready to just lose it and give it away. You have Venus and Pluto, very unpredictable energies. That inner emotional security, talking about your sensitivity, talking about your intuition, talking about the physical body and how you feel about yourself. You're nurturing yourself and your home and your roots versus showing that outer world that you are ready to be that outside of yourself, not just inside. I'm ready to show my exterior from my inner world. Very unpredictable. If you're not in your power, what might come out may not be what you expected. You've got that Neptune and that South Node on top of Haumea, the collective consciousness. This is the week to breathe new life into something or get slapped down with everything that you just will not see. Going, oh, there's nothing left to do. You need to open your eyes to see. Sorry, it's just the way that it comes in. Some trines, which are very positive energy as well. Saturn with the South Node and Venus. This is all about taking the new character, bringing it out, rebirthing by trusting in yourself, believing in yourself, getting past that rejected, helpless, afraid feeling, insecure. If you're insecure, this is the week that insecurity is going to grow. If you can step past that insecurity, it's going to flourish and be a very positive thing. Mars is in that fourth house again. What are you nurturing? What are you helping to grow? Are you nurturing, the growth of the magic from the past? Because it's speaking with Neptune. Or are you just keep creating over and over? Is that inner warrior, that inner Mars, that inner SWAT team, is it mama's boy? Mama will always fix it. Somebody will enable the situation so I get away with it. You may find that don't work anymore. Enabling is not going to continue to work. This is about truly finding it within yourself. And if you're hoping that someone else is going to do it, it may not work for you. Then you've got that Lilith and Chiron. This is such a healing week. It is, but there are major challenges. Saying you've got to be wanting it. You've got to want it. You've got Pluto and the South Node and Jupiter and Mars not getting along. Going, I bet you I can keep you from believing in that rebirth and keep you in that comfort zone. Because abundantly making the change is scary. Being able to speak it and actually do something and stand, even if you're shaking in your shoes. This is the week. This is the week. Then, hold on one second. Okay. Then you've got, like I said, Pluto with Jupiter, the North Node, and Mercury. It all has to do with how you believe, how you talk to yourself, how you communicate. You've got Pluto, which isn't getting along with Venus, the Sun, or Lilith. Venus, the Sun, or Lilith. The fourth house, the second house, the fifth house. What will you create? Are you someone else's project? Are you in your liberated energy? Or are you belittled and taken advantage of and pushed around and told, I will take care of it, I will do this, I will do that, but then you're really not the one doing any of it? Like I said, this is hands-on. No more somebody else taking care of it for us. Then we have that Saturn, that Chiron, that Mars, and that Jupiter. Yes, and that went... You have Saturn, rules walls and boundaries from the 12th house, not getting along with Chiron, the wounded healer, which is then not getting along with your inner emotional security in the 4th house, and then allowing yourself to step in your power versus mama's boy, somebody taking care of it, somebody enabling it, going right back to Jupiter. If you're waiting for somebody to fix it for you this week, it's not going to work, because whoever is on the opposite side of that mothering is not going to allow that shit to fly. It's part of the lesson. Enabling is meant to be put down. You have to learn to stand on your own. It's just like mama birds. I'm sorry, but baby birds have to learn how to fly at some point, even if they fall out of the nest. That's what this is. Welcome to the tea party, guys. You have the South Node and Pluto. South Node, Pluto, which means how Maya is there. The collective consciousness, Pluto retrograde, and the South Node. Life, death, rebirth, regeneration of your groups, your memberships, your committees. What are you a part of? Because what you are a part of is a part of who you are. Is it who you want to be? Or are you going to find out as we go through that, as I've been saying for the last 2 months, Amsterdam energy, Vegas energy, eventually you're going to wake up and be home. What are you grounding? What are you creating? This is time for hands-on energy. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.